He is risen.
He is risen indeed.
We say those words like a magician would say abracadabra. But do we really believe them? Say that we do. So what? Do those words really impact our daily lives? Are we different because 2,000 plus years ago an itinerant rabbi from Nazareth walked out of the grave alive and well? I have been celebrating Easter since 1965, and I am still amazed at the Easter story. It still holds the same fascination for me as when I heard it for the first time. Now, to me, the question has never been, how did this happen? You see, I believe in a God that is beyond my understanding. And so for God to do something mysterious and miraculous does not seem impossible to me. My question has always been, why? Why would God take the time or the trouble to look with love and compassion upon me? So to me, the Easter story holds a mysterious fascination, an impossible to believe truth about a God that is beyond my comprehension. So what is it about Easter that makes it such a special time, such a fascinating time, such a mysterious time? Is it that families get together, or that it means that spring has finally sprung, or that we get to wear bright-colored clothes? Or is it something else? Something we have a hard time putting into words. Something that brings us hope. Hope in this trouble-filled world. Well, my friends, the true meaning of the resurrection is simply that God is in charge. That God is not a theory or a doctrine, but a fact. A mysterious, fascinating fact. Creating us, recreating us, chastening us, challenging us, cherishing us with fresh surprises every morning. Either we can resist and rebel, trying unsuccessfully to wrest that control from God, or we can yield with joy and yearning, trusting that our God is a good God, a generous God, a grace-filled God who always has our best interests at heart. None of the four gospel accounts of the resurrection totally agree with one another. The number of angels, the number of disciples, the number of appearance stories, these details differ, but they all have one thing in common. They all include the mysterious figure of Mary Magdalene, a woman whom some think was a harlot, though there is no biblical proof of that. What is clear is that Mary is disturbed in some way, a woman who had 7 demons, according to Luke. So Mary stands for all of us who can't seem to get through a day without being disturbed in some unsettling way. What we discovered, thankfully, is that God recreates Mary. God recreates us, calming us, claiming us, and yes, calling us by name to become brand new people. Do not hold on to me. Do not hold on to the past. Do not hold on to the fears and the failures and the frustrations that have so deeply disturbed you. Do not hold on to the losses, the lamentations and limitations that have so immobilized you. Instead, go and tell, serve and live. And lo, I am with you, risen and walking beside you every step of the way. All of which suggests another central truth in Easter. For For each of us who are disturbed by the problems, passions, and pressures of the past, God is calling us to the future. God is giving us a new vocation, a new identity, a new purpose, a new calling. Our new vocation is the vocation of resurrection. Our new vocation is to be God's astounding, merciful, resurrecting presence in a world badly in need of grace. Easter is as much about us as it is about God. Easter is as much about life on this side of the grave as it is about life on the other side of the grave. Easter is as much about vocation as it is about victory. Easter is when God takes our personal relationship with Jesus and cracks it wide open and pours it out, propelling us to love the world as much as we love God. So the truth of this Easter day is that God, always merciful and magnificent and mysterious, is in charge. The truth of this Easter day is that because the new is always more powerful than the old, we have been recreated and called to a new vocation of resurrection. The truth of this Easter day is that all of this is possible because hope always has the final word. Resurrection is not only the vocation of our lives, but it is also the vital vision of our lives. There is a true story that says it all, and this is a true story. A teacher who worked in a hospital was sent to a little boy who was barely surviving in the burn unit. When she saw how sick he was, she felt badly about bothering him. But she proceeded to do what she had been sent to do, teach him the difference between nouns and adverbs. The next morning, the nurse on the burn unit saw the teacher and asked, "What did you do to that boy yesterday?" The teacher was about to apologize when the nurse interrupted. "We had given up on him, but ever since you visited him, he seems to be fighting back and responding to treatment." The boy himself later explained that he too had about given up hope. But then he figured out that the school wouldn't have sent a teacher to help him learn nouns and adverbs if they thought he was going to die. Hope, the most powerful truth, the most life-affirming truth of Easter. Hope, God's yes, is always more powerful than our all-too-human no. The resurrection announced loud and clear that God's kingdom had come, that there was dawning not just another day or another week, but the start of God's new age, an age that all of us here today and around the world are participating each day of our lives. The gospel, the good news of the risen Savior, the good news of God at work within us and within the world is the fascination and the mystery of this day. Jesus is loose. He is loose in the world. The empty tomb testifies to that fact. Now there is no getting away from him, no keeping him safely tucked away, or forgetting him, or ignoring him, or saying he is only a doctrine that I am not required to believe only except on Sunday morning. Our living Lord comes into our everyday lives and fills us with his love and his grace. He meets us where we are. He gives us second and third and fourth and fifth and sixth and unlimited chances. He gives us fresh starts each moment of our lives. We have new life, an abundant, grace-filled life, because Jesus lives. That is what our spring flowers are trying to tell us. The question is not, how did God do this? The question is, why did God do this for me, for you, and for the world? The answer may be too simple for us to wrap our minds around. He loves us, each one of us, with all our doubts and all our fears and all our frustrations. We have been accepted and forgiven by the Almighty. And this new life is possible because the tomb was empty. It is possible because God Himself lives. My friends, as ministers of the resurrection, let us go. Let us go and tell. Let us go and tell the truth of the resurrection, so that this world might have life and have it more abundantly. Christ is risen.
He is risen indeed.